And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys, I hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Guys, in today's video as always, going to be going over all the latest Rangers news from the last 24 hours. That of course includes a shock SPFL revelation that could impact Rangers, whilst also going a bit on Oscar Cortez as he cited Alfredo Morelos and spoke about his ambitions to play for the Colombian national team. Whilst also going over a few other bits and pieces within the sort of Rangers space. Obviously back in action game tomorrow night as we take on Ross County in our game in hand. A chance for us to go to the top of the table. Obviously if we win by three or more goals, of course that's a pretty exciting sort of thing to do. Obviously I don't really care too much about going into the top just on goal difference. It's just another game for us, and I think that's the mentality currently within the Rangers camp at this moment in time, from the players to the manager to the fans, that obviously it's a long way to go, and if we do go top of the table, which is great, it looks good on the eye, but really it's just another game for us at this moment in time, and we just need to keep on winning and just see where we are in 14 games time when the sort of league comes to an end, and hopefully we'll have done enough to actually go on and win the title. But yeah, another interesting match against a side that are currently managerless. Of course, Ross County still did recently lose their manager. Currently set 11th in the table, and at Ibrox, I don't see it being a problem. But as stated, guys, we just got to keep on respecting sides, and of course, just trying to get those 3 points on the board. However, let's move into some more of the other news, and that's as stated. New Rangers star Oscar Cortez has revealed he is determined to follow in the footsteps of countryman and former Ibrox hero Alfredo Morelos by being called up by Colombia. The 20-year-old joined on loan from Lens at the end of the transfer window and has made an instant impact after being named man of the match in the Rangers Scottish Cup win over Ayr United. Cortez has been capped once by the South American country when he came on as a sub for 4 minutes in a 1-0 friendly win over Iraq in Valencia last June, and he hasn't been included since. But he's convinced good displays for Rangers can see Colombia boss Nestor Lorenzo hand him a recall and follow Morelos, who was capped while playing in Scotland. In an interview with Colombian radio station, Cortez said, "I know there's still so lot I need to do to go on and improve my game, but I am very hopeful I can make it back to the national team. I have been told a lot about Alfredo Morelos and the history he made at Rangers because of all the goals he scored. He was well loved at Rangers. I will do as much as I can to raise the profile of Colombia here like he did. Since I arrived in Scotland, the players in the team have received me well. They have helped me along the way little by little, and that helps me gain more confidence. My aim is to try and get as many minutes as possible here in Scotland, which is what I am here for. Rangers reminds me of playing for Millonarios. They're a good team and play football the way I like it. In Scotland, every game you play, you know that the next day you'll be very tired because of the intensity in the matches here. The manager and the coaches here have been really helpful for me too." So yeah, obviously speaking to Colombian radio stations, it's always good to have players having that ambition to represent their nations. And as stated, Alfredo Morelos, of course, during his time at Rangers did impress. Maybe not the last season, of course, but certainly this, apart from last season, the years that he was at Rangers, he did very well, was linked with big money moves, and of course got that chance to play at international level. So here's hoping Oscar Cortez can do the same thing. Now guys, in other news, or going into sort of today's headline, of course a shock SPFL revelation that could impact Rangers, and that of course is with regards to this blue card. Now the blue card has made headlines as we were in the lead up to this weekend's games. It was obviously said that was going to be introduced eventually, or trials were going to be introduced, and for those of you that don't know what it is, obviously it's a card in between yellows and reds, and basically gives you a 10 minutes in the sin bin, usually for sort of dissent and sort of tactical fouls, so they can give something more than a yellow card for players that kind of break the rules. Sometimes it feels unjust, especially when there's these tactical fouls that happen to your side that, you know, it's just a yellow card and that's all it is. So they just want to try and do it and implement it and see what can happen. And as stated, Football Chiefs now will move on with that next sort of step and head to the Bonnie Banks of Scotland next month to nail down plans to introduce the blue cards to the game. International Football Association board lawmakers will hold hold their AGM at Loch Lomond on March the 2nd, with a major revamp of the rules at the top of the agenda. Breaks are poised to be announced plans to trial the blue cards, which will see players get a sim bin for 10 minutes for cynical fouls and showing dissent to match officials. The IFAB have been testing out the system in youth games in Wales and are set to unveil steps to roll out more trials, with next season's FA Cup, Women's FA Cup, possible guinea pigs. A league competition will be excluded from the initial testing, but Scottish football will see trials down the levels. SFA Chief Ian Maxwell chaired the meeting in London last November, where the blue card era was pushed forward, along with semi-automatic offside technology, body cams for referees, and further changes to controversial handball calls. And Scotland will also host the next set of high-level talks when IFAB lands in Glasgow for their 138th annual general meeting, with huge changes on the agenda ahead of the 2024-25 season. The introduction of sim bins will be the major talking point, of course, with the prospect of a new card for the first time since the 1970 World Cup, when yellow and red cards were initially rolled out. IFAB have been pushing hard in recent years to clean up behaviour of players on the pitch, with stringent guidelines issued last summer with regards to how referees deal with players and coaching staff aiming abuse. Blue cards are seen as the next step, with players facing a prospect of 10 minutes on the sidelines for being mouthy to officials. The game's chiefs are also keen to stamp out tactical fouls to cut down on streetwise sides who potentially halt opponents with shirt pulls or tackle to stop counterattacks or wreck momentum. Legendary ref Perigola Kalina, who is the chairman of the FIFA's referees committee and on the IFA subcommittee, said the idea is to go deeper into all of the details because it's easy to say we do it. It's a bit more difficult how to regulate these things. So yeah, of course, this is something that's no news in terms of you've probably heard it over the last couple of days, of course, not bringing you that as the sort of news, but of course Scotland set to be one of the guinea pigs with regards to it going down the levels. Instead, the SPFL as such won't be touched straight away, but sort of Championship, League 1, League 2, and then the look at the 24-25 season could be introduced into the SPFL. This, of course, would be a huge rule change and something that would be interesting in Scotland, I think. I think we'll see quite a lot of blue cards happen, especially just against the sort of teams that we play. And probably, domestically in our league, it's probably something that would probably benefit us rather than go against us, to be perfectly honest. The sides that do tactical fouls are the sides that usually aren't on the ball a lot. So the sort of teams that we play against will probably see their players go into sort of sim bins a lot more than what we would. And then, of course, gobbing at the referees as well as more of the other sort of sides within our league. So I think it would probably benefit Rangers. It would probably benefit a Celtic, to be fair, if these sim bins were actually introduced, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. However, it's just, I think we're all the same. Sometimes when rule changes happen and things happen of this nature, when VAR was introduced, a lot of fans are just like, I can't be bothered for yet another one. And the fact that referees can't get the basics right at this moment in time just kind of makes you wonder, would they be able to get the basics right with regards to those blue cards? One thing I did read, though, that was quite entertaining, and that looked quite entertaining with regards to those blue cards, is the fact if a goalkeeper is given a sim bin blue, then there will be a situation where an outfield player will have to put on the goalkeeper's shirt for 10 minutes. And I just found that super funny in a game that is just going to add a little bit more layer to matches. That, if a goalkeeper gets a blue card, then we can just see, James Tavernier enter the goals for 10 minutes to wait until Jack Butland can return, sort of thing. Or they would have to make a permanent substitute. But yeah, certainly very, very interesting at how it could roll out. But as stated, guys, that could be coming in the as early as the 24-25 season for Rangers and the Scottish Premiership. But of course, trials will start to commence down the lower leagues at this moment in time. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts on the whole blue card situation. I know it's a very controversial opinion at this moment in time, but yeah, as stated, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time, guys. Take care. Peace.